Real Madrid have a genuine chance of winning La Liga this season, and you can back that up by looking at their most recent matches, understanding how the team has been performing on the pitch, and where their rivals are leaving gaps. The one-minute comeback against Mallorca wasn't a lightning strike out of nowhere. It's a portrait of a team that produces, resists adversity, and has multiple ways to win games. Before going into examples, it's worth narrowing the scope. We're talking about the last few weeks of La Liga, a run of wins, 100% record, and provisional leadership. That's what points to favoritism across 38 rounds. The friendly against WSG Tirol in Innsbruck was Madrid's first test before the official start of the season, and it only took 15 minutes for the team to make it clear they weren't just there to rotate the squad or tick a box. After 10 minutes, Eder Militão attacked the near post with precision and headed firmly after a corner taken by Arda Güler. 3 minutes later, it was Mbappé's turn, receiving from Vinicius inside the box, shaking off the defender, and finishing with the composure of someone who turns ordinary moves into decisive moments. At 2-0 before halftime, Madrid had already imposed their style of play. Against Osasuna, the official La Liga debut brought a completely different type of challenge. This time, Madrid faced an opponent who defended in a deep block, lines packed right up against their own box, forcing constant circulation of the ball out wide and blocking any attempt to break through the middle. Madrid had volume and attacking presence, but Osasuna's density held firm all through the first half. The game turned right at the start of the second half when Mbappé burst down the right, cut inside the box, and drew a penalty from Juan Cruz. He stepped up himself, sent the keeper the wrong way, and scored the only goal of the match. From then on, Madrid took complete control of the game, holding possession calmly, avoiding defensive risks, and still creating chances to extend the lead. Güler went close with a powerful strike from distance, and the substitutions showed squad depth. Carvajal returned, Mastantuono made an impact, and Gonzalo Garcia was active in the final minutes. Rodrigo this time wasn't needed. It was the kind of win that demands patience, intelligence, and consistency. Exactly what defines winning league campaigns. Back at the Bernabeu against Real Oviedo, the performance was much closer to what's expected from a team that dominates both with and without the ball. The 3-0 win was built in very clear phases. The first goal came from an aggressive recovery in midfield, Tchouaméni winning the physical duel, Güler playing Mbappé in with a first-time pass, and the Frenchman finishing with precision from outside the box. Oviedo responded immediately when Quasisibo hit the post with a low strike, but Madrid stayed focused and never lost control. In the second half, once again, a midfield recovery was the trigger. Vinicius had just come on and, with his very first involvement, played Mbappé through straight away. The number 9 made no mistake and doubled the score. In stoppage time, it was Vinicius himself who got into the box to grab the third, exploiting the space Oviedo left behind and sealing a mature performance. 3 points stand out from this match: the fluid triangle between Tchouaméni, Güler, and Mbappé for the opener, the immediate impact of Vinicius, who changed the tempo of second balls the moment he came on, and the defensive solidity, which held strong even as Madrid pushed their lines up chasing the third. Madrid managed to raise the tempo without losing defensive structure, a clear sign of collective maturity. Across all 3 games, the tactical pattern was the same: quick recovery of possession, territorial dominance, attacking width, and a squad that responds well to adjustments. The Mallorca case study makes this picture even clearer. In the 6th minute, Alexander-Arnold broke the press with a quarterback pass over the top for Mbappé. The goal was scored, but ruled out for a marginal offside. The point isn't the disallowed goal, it's the warning. Madrid threatened depth from the very start and forced the opposition to drop 2 meters deeper, freeing up the half spaces for the rest of the game. Moments later came the scare: poor marking at a corner. Muriqi flicking almost backwards, and Mallorca taking the lead. A defensive Achilles heel exposed, set pieces. The response, though, was that of a top-level side. On 37 minutes, a rehearsed corner. Carreras delivered, Huijsen flicked on, and Güler arrived to equalize. Not random, choreographed. 1 minute later, 38, counterattack. Vinicius in space, accelerates, destroys the defender, and finishes across goal. A turnaround in 60 seconds. In parallel, 3 more goals were ruled out, 2 from Mbappé for offside and 1 from Güler for handball, after a rebound created by Mastantuono. The stat here is simple but powerful. Volume. Even with VAR cutting 3 celebrations, Madrid kept creating and controlling. And when Mallorca found 2 clear chances to equalize, the takeaway was just as clear. The rest defense sometimes gets exposed when the press is high, a fine-tuning needed in the line height and the covering midfielder's position. Tactically, how is Madrid set up today? In attack, Vinicius and Mbappé provide double depth and alternating diagonals. One stretches the back line, the other attacks the pocket between fullback and center back. 2 immediate effects. It stops the opponent from compacting too much centrally and opens corridors for the third man to arrive. That's where Bellingham fits as connector/infiltrator, receiving between the lines, turning quickly, and attacking the box with perfect timing, closer to the edge of the box than the center circle. Alexander-Arnold operates as a hybrid fullback/midfielder, sometimes giving width to pin the winger, sometimes stepping inside to release the early runner, like with the 6th minute pass. And when the game demands control, Güler lowers the tempo. Clean final ball, long-range shooting, and rhythm management in the final third. Exactly what he showed in the equalizer against Mallorca. Off the ball, the first press has clear triggers. Poorly directed sideways passes, midfielders receiving with their back to goal. The counter press lasts just long enough to kill transitions. 5 to 8 second window, where you either win it back or retreat. If they don't win it back, the fallback shape has been a 2+1, 2 center backs in line, and a holding midfielder cutting the first vertical pass. A solid base, but when Madrid push too high and lose the ball in positional attack, space behind the fullbacks opens up. Exactly the gap Mallorca tried to exploit in their 2 big chances. At set pieces, there's a stark contrast. Offensively, there's variety and execution. Defensively, the mixed marking and near-post blocking still need work. Now, favoritism isn't just built on what Madrid do, but also on what their rivals don't. In recent games, Barcelona have shown cracks. Against Levante away, they struggled in key areas. Disorganized defensive transitions and emotional instability in a game slipping away from them. The opener came from a simple counterattack. Morales down the left, switched to Toljan, headed assist, and Ivan Romero turning past Cubarsí to finish. Classic poorly protected high block, fullbacks too high, midfield exposed, defensive line uncoordinated, exactly the kind of mistake Madrid exploit with Vinicius and Mbappé running into space. Barcelona did respond with goals from Pedri and Ferran early in the second half, but they wobbled again and only turned it around in stoppage time thanks to an own goal. It took a long shot, a set piece, and an opponent's mistake to beat a relegation side. In a league of consistency, relying on exceptions like that doesn't sustain a campaign. The same pattern repeated in the draw with Rayo Vallecano. Barca took the lead with a questionable penalty on Lamine Yamal, but conceded the equalizer after pushing up recklessly and leaving space behind. Rayo almost won it. And Barcelona, even with firepower on the bench, couldn't regain control. What stood out was a vulnerable team under pressure, struggling to keep structure when trying to be more aggressive. Villarreal and Athletic may push at times, but with thinner squads, they'll struggle to sustain a high rhythm over months, especially when fixtures pile up and injuries hit. The result is a scenario where Madrid pull away, not just on the table, but in the way they construct wins. Every attacking move has intent. They stay compact without the ball, and they can raise or slow the tempo depending on context. When they need to react, like against Mallorca, they respond in minutes. When they need to control, like against Osasuna, they manage with maturity. And the difference lies in the margin of safety. Madrid have been winning with dominance through chance creation, emotional control, or collective repertoire. Barcelona, even when they win, do so narrowly, relying on isolated moments, more exposed to randomness. Madrid don't need a deflected cross or a controversial decision to score. They have the structure to build leads on merit. In practice, that translates into points. And, more importantly, stability. Because La Liga doesn't reward the brightest team for one night, but the most reliable one over 38 rounds. And right now, in terms of performance, tactical reading, squad depth, and decisiveness, no one looks more prepared than Real Madrid. It may still be too early to call the title, but the expectations are strong.